A while back, I made this video where I look at potential shattered web knives with chroma finishes. In this video, I estimated the price of what shattered web knives with chroma finishes might cost based on what the Prisma knives might cost. And the reason is, like, the odds are basically comparable, some of the knives are basically comparable, and you can sort of derive from that what, they might be worth. You can sort of, guesstimate, but, there's a margin of error, but you can get a rough idea of what they might be worth. But, looking back at it, I've come to realize there's a huge error in the numbers I used in this video. These knives are almost certainly going to be worth a lot more than I'm showing on this video. Like, I think I've actually significantly underestimated their price, and I will explain why. What you'll notice with the Dreams of Nightmare and Riptide case is that they are both quite expensive. Normally cases drop, the Riptide case won't, but normally, you expect the Dreams of Nightmares case to get to about 10 cents or so. That hasn't been happening. And the reason it hasn't been happening is that there is simply too much demand for this case, supply cannot keep up, and the thing driving demand for this case is the knives. And that's forcing the price up, and it's keeping the knives expensive in the process. Now, as a consequence of this, it's making the knives more expensive too. Riptide knives are great and all. Like, I think they're good knives, but they are not going to be as good as shattered web knives with chroma finishes. Like, am I tripping, guys? These knives here, shattered web knives with chroma finishes, they definitely are better than Riptide knives, right? What would you guys prefer? What would you guys prefer? Shattered web knives or Riptide knives with chroma finishes? Which one do you reckon is a better set? For the purposes of my example, they only need to be equally popular. Like, I don't need them to be more popular. As long as they're equal. Look at the Nomad knife, by the way. That price is so fucked. It's not going to be anything like that. But as a consequence of that, I don't think it is physically possible for there to be enough cases to meet supply. There is just going to be too many people wanting to open these things. Now, first of all, these knives most likely are initially going to come from an operation case. That will have a fixed price at around about $1. It might get a bit lower, but it can't get that low. It has to stay like, 60 cents or more. That's going to make these knives a lot more expensive because it's going to cost more to open them. And I suspect demand will massively outstrip supply, and it's going to be a very expensive operation case, like at cost if you're buying with stars. Like, I think it's going to be expensive to unbox them. Eventually another case will come out with these knives, but I expect you'll see a similar thing to the Dreams of Nightmares case, if not worse. It is going to be very, very expensive, and there'll be so much demand for the knives that it will force the price of the cases up, and in the process, force the price of the knives up. And I estimated, I think, a skeleton sapphire at $4,500 US. I feel like there's no chance of that. That's going to be like, what, $8,000 US, something like that. The hilarious one is, where's the Nomad knife? Some of my Nomad knife prices are really funny. What, $2,000 for a Nomad sapphire? This is going to be, I reckon, like $8,000 or something like that. It's going to be super, super expensive. So I'm excited for these knives, but I'm looking back at what I did here now, and these prices were massive underestimates. So they're going to stay at values that are miles higher, probably for quite a long time. And they will probably eventually get a bit lower than that, but they're going to be super expensive. A good gem with some of these knives is just going to cost like a nutty amount of money, particularly for skeletons and nomads. But the fact that there's so many amazing knives in this hypothetical upcoming case that we're probably going to get is in and of itself pretty awesome.